Hi everyone, Machine Gun Alley here with Discount Firearms and Ammo in beautiful Las Vegas. Today we're going to be talking about how to clean your handgun. You've been at the range, you've been doing some target practice, and you realize that it's been a little bit of time since you've cleaned your gun. So the reason why we're going to clean our gun is because you get these carbon buildups and it kind of gets gunky after a while, and you don't want your gun to failure to fire or failure to feed, especially when you need it to shoot the most. So we're going to make sure that we always keep a good maintenance on our gun. First thing we're going to do is chamber and magazine check. Make sure that you are safe. Next, we're going to put on some gloves because we are going to be using some different solvents and cleaners. This way we don't irritate our skin. So these are just some little hospital gloves that you can get at any convenience store, or you can get them at like Walgreens, CVS. They're not expensive. Okay, once we've got our gloves on, let's disassemble our gun. I've got the XDM40, which means we're going to flip this up. Focus back, light comes out. Be careful with your little spring there. Sometimes it does shoot off. Take out our barrel. There we go. Now we are disassembled. Now here's what you're going to need to clean your gun. We're going to have a rag, some Q-tips, some patches, a bore cleaner. Now there's actually different brushes for the bore cleaners. They have synthetic nylon, they have brass, and they have steel. This one's actually a brass or copper brush. I like to use this one. We're going to have our actual brushes. There's actually 3 of these as well. You've got your nylon, your steel, and your brass. And these are actually for cleaning different parts of your handgun. Okay? Now here's a couple of different options for your cleaning kits. This one's mine right here. It basically holds everything that you see here. You can get something like this where it's more of a universal gun cleaning kit system. It comes with different brushes, different cleaners. It actually has bore snakes, etc., etc. So that's a 32-piece kit. You also have something like this. This one contains something called a mop, like these. These are also cleaners that you can use. It's completely optional instead of patches. And another one like this. So it really depends on the size, how many guns you have, if you want to do something universal or just for one firearm. These are a couple of different cleaners that you can use. You can use a gun scrub, you can use the Hoppe's number 9, you can use the CLP Plus, a couple of different ones. What I'm actually going to be using is a fully synthetic gun oil. So let's start cleaning. First thing we're going to do is get a nice little rag, and we're going to just wipe down everything before we start actually cleaning anything. This way it kind of helps get rid of whatever deposits and extra nasties are in there before we start doing our cleaning with the brushes. And you'll see that it'll start to, you'll see that kind of stuff come off. Just quick cleaning, quick wipe down. And in between cleanings, you can actually do this where it's just a wipe down. It's recommended just that way you don't over clean your guns, because if you do over clean your guns, it actually will wear your gun faster than need to be. So we just do a quick wipe down, get rid of any excess. There we go. And now we're ready to clean. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get one of our cleaners. We'll start with the copper brush. And I'm just going to put in just a little bit. You really don't need much. And we'll start right here with the slide rail. And I'm just going to go in a circular motion like this. Now, right now you probably think this looks like a lot of cleaner, but let me show you what I'm talking about here. The viscosity on here, it really does spread throughout the entire piece that you're cleaning. So I'll go around. There. See what I mean? Just this little bit, you're actually able to clean the entire piece. No need to soak it, no need to scrub it really hard. It's just enough. Clean that off. Then we're going to go in here. A little bit of this out. We'll let that sit just for a minute. Now we're going to move on to our barrel. Remember, just a little bit. Don't use too much. You really don't need to. Okay? this off. Make sure that you clean all of the parts where the most action happens. The barrel gets a lot of action, so we're going to make sure this right here is the chamber. You want to pay perfect attention to this, or a lot of attention to this. So I actually like to switch to the steel brush for this. Okay, just a tiny bit of cleaner and really clean in there. This will make sure that you don't have failure to feed and failure to fire. And you see these little tiny spots right here. Maybe you can see that right there. You want to make sure that you get that nice and clean too. There. That looks pretty clean. Now we're going to take our bore brush, a little bit in there, and just shove it in. There you go. Do that a couple of times. There we go. Do it the other way too. And one thing that I do not recommend is they do have kits that have a steel bore brush. I don't recommend this because it actually will scratch the inside of your barrel. So I prefer the copper one or the nylon one. Let's take our rag, wipe this down. There we go. And now we're going to grab our pistol rod. You'll notice it's got like a little hole right here. That's for your patches. So you're going to grab one of your patches, stick it in the end right here, pull it through. That way it looks like elephant ears. And you're going to put it into your barrel and bring it through. See all that? Yuck. So we can bring it back through this way if you want to. And we'll do this at least 2 to 3 times. That way we know that it's nice and clean. Now I had mentioned before that they do have that thing that's the mop in one of the kits that you saw. You can use that instead of using the patches if you want. It's just another version of cleaning out the inside of your barrel. Okay. We'll go one more just to make sure it's nice and clean. There we go. Try and double it up a little bit. There we go. That should do it. That's what we like to see. That looks pretty darn clean. Beautiful. So we'll give our barrel a quick wipe. And we'll set that aside. And you remember how we had our slide rail up there? Time to wipe that down. That looks pretty nice and clean there. Now once you've wiped down the excess of the cleaner, this is when we pull out our Q-tips and try and get in the inside and really clean that out. So I've got 2 different kinds of Q-tips here. I like to go with the longer ones because they actually reach a little bit more. So you're going to take it and you're going to kind of go right in those little crevices. See that? That's the kind of stuff you want to make sure that you get out of there. You just kind of go through all of here, along the slide rail. You want all that stuff gone. There we go. Another one out of here. Now, cleaning your gun really shouldn't take too long. I know I'm kind of explaining everything, but on average it should take maybe 5 to 8 minutes to clean one handgun. Now I like to shoot, and so I clean my handguns quite often. You want to make sure that you really pay attention to your extractor, because that's where a lot of jams happen. All that carbon buildup and sediment gets in there, and it's not good for the shooter. So make sure that you get all that nice and clean. There we go. Alright, I think we're good there. Let's move on to the spring. Now the spring actually doesn't get too much physical action where you're actually going to get sediment and carbon in there. So with this, what I like to do is actually just grab your rag, kind of just wipe it down. And it shouldn't really have much on there. There we go. Nice and clean. And last piece, your main piece or your lower rail. I like to use the nylon one. Just a little dab as needed. Get in there and clean this out. Focus on the slide area and the feed area right where that chamber is. There you go. And once you've done that, grab your Q-tip and get into all the little small spots. See that? Those are those little tiny spots that everybody forgets about. So you now know the secret to making sure that you've got an exceptionally clean handgun. Nasty. I guess this means I've been shooting my gun. There we go. Make sure we get down in here. And I believe that should be pretty darn clean. So once we've done that, we'll give it a quick once over with the rag. That's looking pretty darn clean there. And that's that. You can always wipe down your magazine if you think that it's gotten a little bit too much action. Maybe you've dropped it in the desert, if you're doing some kind of tactical training. So just kind of give it a little bit of a once over. There we go, nice and clean. All right, so now your handgun's clean. All we're going to do is we're going to lube it up just in little tiny spots and put it back together. I like to use a Q-tip for my lube, and for this I'm going to use the CLP Plus. Okay, this is 100% biodegradable. It's safe to use, and it actually has great reviews. So I'm just going to use that much. That's all you're going to need. Screw that back together. And when you lubricate your handgun, you're just going to focus mainly on the parts that are moving. So you're going to put some there. Put some along the rail here. And a little does go a long way. Okay. Right in here. Here. There we go, that should be good. And if you want, you can actually use a little bit on your shiny areas. That's how I remember where I'm doing this. Any spot where you're going to get a little bit of action. So a little bit of there. And your chamber here. Just a bit. And you should be done. Okay, so now you've got a nice clean gun. Let's put it back together. And this just means that you get to fire it again and make it dirty again. Okay. Back down. There we go. Magazine in. And once you're done with that, I'm going to take off my gloves and get a nice cleaner rag and just do one final wipe down. We already know that this has been chamber safety checked, so once you've done your cleaning, make sure that it fires correctly so you know you assembled it correctly. And there you have it, guys. One clean, maintained handgun. Let's go shoot it. Make it dirty again. This is Machine Gun Alley with Discount Firearms and Ammo saying shoot safe, shoot true, shoot often, and remember, it's your right. Respect it and protect it. See y'all later.